Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We just had a huge console mod drop in Baldur's Gate 3's mod manager, and there's definitely something here for everyone. For a brief overview, we got the Reclused Witch Set here, alongside some other equipment mods. Shadowheart romance mods are some of the most requested. We finally got one here, and also more dead spider licking reactions for GALE. And the Tyrant of Flavour Town is now in Baldur's Gate. We also have some new class mods by the Wailing Bard and some others here, new cosmetics, and much more. Now, honestly, I'm a little surprised that we got the Reclused Witch Set here. This outfit comes from Elden Ring Night Rain. I platinumed that game a couple weeks after its launch. Huge fan of it. This mod here by Skirby actually adapts some of the powers that she has into Baldur's Gate 3 very well. So with the armor set here, you get the Soul Blood Song. So when you use this ability, you mark enemies, and when you attack them, you get a 1d6 of hit points back. This lasts for 5 turns, kind of similar to her ultimate. I think that is really cool. Sweet VFX there as well. And it's also fully dyeable. I'll mouse over the different pieces here so you get an idea of the different effects that they'll give. And there are 2 different versions of the hat here. One will have hair built in, and one of them will use dynamic base hair. Certain hairstyles won't apply to it, but there's also a camp clothing version, and it's modular, so if you like certain pieces from this, you can mix and match. And what I love most is that it is fully dyeable. I choose the Boreal Blue mod, or from the base game dye. It looks awesome on this. And like Skirby's other mods, it also has progressive level as you increase in level to get more armor class. But yeah, that is the Reclused Witch Set. We also got the NAERYS Incendium here by NAERYS, and I'm excited to have this one now available on console. So another one that has a few different designs for it as well, as you can see here. It also has camp clothing versions. This is the outfit that I currently have on Shadowheart here. Ignore the sword. That is a work in progress mod that I'm working on here, but fire themed outfit. It also has a version without the shoulder pads there, and then there's one that has like a bit of a different chest piece to it. You also have one that's going to have different little hip selection there. So there's a few different types of this armor here if you find one of them suit your character better. It also has some of the abilities from like the Helldusk armor. Whenever you deal fire damage, you gain 2 turns of heat. A creature that damages the wearer will get burning. The armor here gives you those abilities and can't be forcibly moved. Ignore difficult terrain. You got Hellcrawler similar to Helldust boots. And it works on body types 1, 2, 3, and also 4. You can see there, Mint's got it on. It also works on Dragonborn, Githyanki, and even the slim body types. There's a separate one for those. Amazing armor mod. Hopefully we'll see some more come to console. Then next up, we got the Mist Connection Shadowheart by Hyperspace Towel. I'm a huge fan of their mods. Now what this mod does is that you can actually miss out on one of the parts of her romance really easily if you end up not finding out about her night orchids, that she likes night orchids and that she cannot swim. So if you don't get that, you won't get this later on in the game. So this just removes that requirement. You still have to be partnered with her, get 40+ approval, and make her an enemy of Shart for this to happen. And you can also still, like normal, if you end up resting without going and talking to her with that exclamation mark, it will warn you before you end up long resting. It will end up adding this to the camp events that did happen, so it is still possible to miss it, but you're not likely to. If you're going to be romancing Shadowheart, you're not going to let long rest when she has an exclamation mark above her head, but just be mindful that you do have to go talk to her for this to work. I'm all for these type of mods that open things up and make it easier for you to get the content you want to see without missing anything. So Mist Connection Shadowheart by Hyperspace Towel. We also did get another mod by them, the GALE, the More Dead Spider Reactions. Now, you've probably seen the cutscenes of GALE freaking out whenever you lick a spider, and justified crash out, honestly. But you may not have experienced it in game because it can sometimes not happen if you pass the constitution check. So this just removes that requirement, so it's much more likely to happen. In addition, it also makes it so your other companions will lean in and talk too. Karlak, do I smell beef? So yeah, this is amazing because I have a hard time getting this one to happen, and it just makes it a lot more whimsical and fun. I think this is a really funny scene in Baldur's Gate 3, so don't use if you're using other mods that modify the spider meat hunk.lsf, which you probably are not. Actually, I don't think there's any console mods that do interact with that, so it should be more than fine. But yeah, this is a really funny and enjoyable mod to have. Much like the Tyrant of Flavour Town here by Volno. Now, I love this. Larion's actually using this alongside a few of my mods in their live stream playthrough. It turns Gortash into Gort Fieri. So yeah, he's got this wicked awesome hairstyle change, cool outfit, and it even changes his form when he's in his avatar of Bane. So yeah, the Tyrant of Flavour Town. I was losing my mind. This is one of the few mods that I've always kept installed in my load order. It is amazing. It was part of the modathon last summer, and I was so stoked whenever I seen this mod drop. This is exactly what modding is all about. Love it. Now we're getting into some class mods. I know people really want to see some of these. We got Huffman's Magus, a spell or a class of spell and steel by the Wailing Bard. This is also part of the modathon. I'm really looking forward to that this year. I will be putting some mods forward in that. Now this is a class mod that adds a lot into the game. It has some pretty cool abilities here, like the Esoteric Eye. You can detect the arcane abilities in the enemy. You get to see the preferred spellcasting ability and mark them if they have any spell slots. This will give you advantage on any further arcana checks against that target. Not just that, we also have 6 different subclasses here. And again, I gotta say, very well done class mod. The Arcane Order, you get a special Arcing Arrow cantrip you can choose from, or the Spell Shattering Smite. So this is a class that's kind of magical, kind of an anti-magic class. You also have a few other subclasses. I may do a full video on this one just because there is a lot going on with this. The Heaven's Guard, Night Stygian, and they also do get different options for cantrips here. So like this one's got the Bloodletting Bite and Death Shroud. The Primordial Seal here, you got Rhyme Strike and Booming Blade. The Sidereal Cabal, adding in Vortex Dart ability and the Misfortune's Mark. And the Sylvan Circle, it's a more druidic of a class with Warden's Rebuke and also at the option for Rhyme Strike. So this class gets access to martial weapons, medium armor, shields. It doesn't get extra attack, but these extra abilities and the smites that it gets, it makes up for that. And it has a ton of new cantrips included. And here's all the abilities. Like this would literally take so long to go through. So yeah, you can expect a future video on this one just because there's so much going on. It's an incredible mod, highly recommend. Now another mod that we got by the Wailing Bard is the Poverty Domain Cleric. This is kind of the antithesis to my Lucky Clover domain, which is all about gold and money. The poverty is obviously not about that. So you get the Mantle of Poverty here, which is going to add your Constitution modifier plus Wisdom modifier if you're not wearing any armor or using a shield. But their Channel Divinity is one of the coolest features. So when a creature within 9 meters of you takes damage, you can use your reaction and take the damage in their place, and the damage you take will be halved. You cannot take damage for an already downed character. So you're kind of a protector here. You got that Poverty Mantle. At level 6, you can turn your spell and attacks into non-lethal attacks. Your Divine Strike will also scale up as it has level 20 support. And as I was saying, it's literally the antithesis to my Lucky Clover domain, which is about poison damage, because this one gets immunity to poison damage in the poison's condition. This is an adaptation of Laser Llama subclass, so yeah, this is a really cool one and definitely worth checking out as well. And next up, we got the Dragon Soul by Sakura Sage here. This is a spell casting class here. You got access to, it actually has a dependency of Imp UI, Unlock Level Curve, and Mistress spells. I know not a lot, I don't even use Imp UI anymore, but it is required to have these installed. I don't always love whenever there's dependencies, especially on consoles. It does force you to download mods you may not want to have, so just want to put that a disclaimer there. But it does seem to use the Mistress spell, so I mean, if you already have it installed, that is perfectly fine. So level 1 gives you 2 cantrips, 2 spells, and you can take 4 different skill proficiencies. Level 2 will give you another choice in spell and soul sparks, which are basically just the Warlock's invocations, including Eldritch Strike from the Eldritch Knight and Land Stride from the Ranger. And there are 4 different subclasses, with the Deathbringer adding additional necrotic damage, and you get necrotic damage spells. The Evoker of Disaster adds extra lightning damage, pushes back, and also gives you some lightning spells. The Mindbreaker will give you resistance to psychic damage alongside some psychic spells. And the Sunsinger will apply radiating orbs and give you a few radiant spells. It also seems to give a feat at level 3 here, so just a heads up, sometimes those do cause issues with other feat type mods. You also get to take another spell level 4 and the Draconic Resilience to increase your stat by 1 and increase or give you proficiency in those saving throws. And then at level 5 it gets an extra attack and you continue to learn more spells. So that is the Dragon Soul. Next up, we got Gloomy Hair Sharts Edits Hairstyles for CC by Sweet Generous Things Mods. Now this, I'm actually surprised we got this one first. This is their second mod, because they also have a mod that changes Shadowheart's hair into this. This will add it to the character creator so you can select these hairstyles. Now, I'm surprised we didn't get the new hair for Shadowheart, because this one came out April 5th, whereas the hairstyle edits came out April 15th. Big fan of both these mods though. So this is what the hairstyle looks like. I really like when highlights are well done, like on this one here. So you actually do get to see the hairstyle light options there. And there's also this one here with Shadowheart's little piece. And yeah, 2 new hairstyles. There is a way to give this hairstyle to Shadowheart. I actually did a full video on how to change any character in the game on console. It's a bit of a complicated process, but it is possible if you use a few different mods in the process that I have linked. For some reason, this video does not get pushed out on YouTube. Anytime that I try to find it, I have the hardest time, but I'll have this linked in the comments and description in case you really do want to add these hairstyles to Shadowheart and not wait for the other mod, or, you know, have to download another mod. You can have them for both. Now, we also got an awesome mod. One of my favorite weapons in the game is Phalar Aluve. This is Phalar Aluve become legend by Lock, Stock, Rocket. What this mod does is it puts in 2 items into the game. There's music boxes, which you can use to upgrade Phalar Aluve. So this is what it is after the first upgrade there, giving cantrips and smites additional damage equal to your spellcasting modifier, an additional 1d4 of thunder damage. And when you deal damage with a cantrip or smite, you gain arcane synergy for 2 turns. And arcane synergy adds your charisma or whatever your spellcasting modifier is to your damage. So it's basically doing that twice. It also will glow in a 6-meter radius, and it powers up the Phalar Aluve melody, which we'll get to. Once you get to the maximum level, it's going to further increase in damage by giving it another +1 enhancement, and it also increases the damage die to a 1d6, and it'll now deal damage equal to twice your spellcasting modifier, and you still get that arcane synergy, so it's like 3 times your spellcasting modifier, and it'll ignore resistances to slashing damage and give a +3 to your performance. It'll also upgrade the Sing and Shrieking abilities, knocking targets off balance as well. And then at max level, it turns them into bonus actions. So much more efficient this way. And you can find out where to find the upgrades in this mod. So that is the Phalar Aluve become legend by Lock, Stock, Rocket, Raccoon. Next up, we got Transform Wyll to Human or Devil by Mod.io user 201 or 2064070. Now, this is a really nice mod because if you're on console, you can't really swap Wyll back like you can on PC. This will give you a ring in your inventory. It shows up in the tutorial chest as well. That gives you 2 different spells, Human Wyll, Devil Wyll. So you can go ahead here and you have to give it to him and then use the spell here and boom, horns be gone. So yeah, this is great because I think Wyll's a pretty cool dude, and sometimes you just don't want to have the another tiefling in your party. It may cause his portrait here to get a little messed up, but it can be fixed by just doing a simple level up. So again, anytime that you see the issues with their portraits, or if they do a zoom call and they look funny like that, you just have to level them up and it'll reset itself. And that goes for you too. If you ever want to change your character portrait, just go and level up, change your outfit. Sometimes the outfits do show up on there. Next, we got another mod by SwissFred57, the Ingredient Collector. So these mods are pretty straightforward in what they do, and I think it's nice. This just collects any ingredients in a 36-foot radius. They have a lot of other mods similar to this. I know a lot of people look for their type of mods. Loot Master is one that I definitely recommend for a lot of people because this just loots everything, and I get asked often about a mod like that, so I just want to mention it quickly here. But this is just the Ingredient Collector for those that want a bit less looting to be done. That is by SwissFred57. Next up, we got Paladins and Oaths, D&D 5-Hour Player's Handbook 2024 by Chizfreak. This is a massive mod. So this makes some pretty large changes to the Paladin. I downloaded it, but it's a lot to go through in a video like this. If you're playing any of Solasta 2's early access, you'll probably be familiar with the Paladin, or if you use any of the other Player's Handbook 2024 mods. Not a lot of people love the Paladin. I think it actually plays quite nice because lay hands is just so much better. This makes the Paladin less of a smite bot because let's be honest, if you're playing a Paladin, you're likely going in and smiting 2 to 3 times per action and just doing that. This makes you more of like a battle medic in a sense because you got an option to use your lay hands as a bonus action, so you got a bit of healing involved. You can't just spam your smites as much as you'd like to, and there are a variety of changes they made. They changed it as now a spell. It costs a bonus action on hit, similar to the other smites in the game. It now has an upscaling support up to level 9, so if you want to go with a level 20 mod and have some crazy smites, you can do so. You can also do unarmed smites with this mod, which I think is amazing. It does also buff up the other smites. That's one thing I do like about the 2024 Paladin. Searing Smite doesn't require concentration. It's actually not a bad option as it does burning damage per turn, which can be pretty useful because it then outscales the amount of damage the Divine Smite does, although it is over time. And it also updates Wrathful Smite, Banishing Smite, and Blinding Smite to match the 2024 rule set. Again, there's a lot of changes here. I'm not going to go over every single change because most people aren't going to care that much about that, but I would recommend checking through the mod page, which I'll have linked in the description. If you want to see all the changes, they did a very good job of listing all of this out. And as mentioned, it would literally take me like 20 minutes to go through it all. So yeah, that is a Paladins and Oaths D&D 5-Hour 2024 Player Handbook. Next, we got Astarion's tousled curls. This just gives him some slightly longer hair. So party in the front, party in the back. It's just a simple replacer for his hair, making it slightly longer and more tousled. I've never heard that word before. Not a hair guy, as you can tell. But yeah, this is nice for the Astarion fans out there if you want to give them some longer hair by Precious Little Ball Babe. And next we got Klara Weapon Earrings for CC by Klara from Earth. Now, this adds in a ton of different earrings. They're cool. Great for a pirate run or really any type of run, because some of them, like that's a flail, doesn't really look much like a flail. This is a cold dagger, similar to the cold snap. Fire dagger. There's a poison dagger with slight colors changes here. And there's even things like great clubs, great swords if you like the Githyanki one. And the moon blade. We also have a mini Orin dagger, scimitar, scimitar 3, and then a sickle. You name it, there's probably a weapon here that you enjoy formed into an earring here. And they also have ones that are going to be on different sides of your ear here. So yeah, you got lots of options. So yeah, take a look through the mod images here. It's just got so many cool options. So yeah, that adds in a ton of new earrings to the game by Klara from Earth. And next we got the Hag Summon for Spore Druid by Great Dreamer 17. This will add a Summon Hag Fae for the level 5 Spore Druid, and it'll add a clone spell similar to the Hag. Also adds Unbalanced Myrmidons and Elementals, an Owlbear Familiar Summon might work on it more, and a Shadowhound Summon. Now this mod got approved for console pretty quickly, came out April 6th, 2026, so yeah, really random how certain mods get added to console, but for those Hag fans out there, we got one here, but we also got another Hag mod with the Auntie Ethel always surrenders by What's on the Flip. In the vanilla game, during the fight with Auntie Ethel, she'll surrender if her health gets low. Now it is really easy to end up taking her out and not even getting this, and some people want it because it does open up things a little bit differently later on. And for those that like the Hag's hair, this is just a little bit of an easier way to get it. So pretty solid week for mods. Another Tuesday drop, though we didn't have a drop last week, but we had like 3 straight weeks of Tuesday drops. So it used to be Thursdays that we typically had the drops. Now it's Tuesdays, so it's pretty cool. Get it earlier on in the week. Now I do have a free Patreon if you guys want to see updates on the newest mods that I'm working on. I'm currently working on a big weapon mod here, so we'll hopefully have that completed soon. I don't do a great job promoting the Patreon, but it is free and you can check that out. It'll be linked in the description and in the comments. Just wanted to talk about it because people ask me about my mods and just wanted to have one place where you can see some of the work in progress. But let me know which of these mods is your favorite from today's drop. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one.